The British Prime Minister says he's deeply concerned about images of police arresting women at a vigil to mourn Sarah Everard. The head of the Metropolitan Police Force has defended her officers amid allegations of heavy-handedness. Well, Sarah Everard disappeared on the 3rd of March and her body was discovered a week later. A serving police officer has been charged with her murder, while the case has sparked a debate about women's safety. Our correspondent Paul Barber joins us from London. Hello there, Paul. Bring us up to date with what's been happening.
Yes, Juliet, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, speaking a little bit early this afternoon, said that the country is unified in its grief and shock at the death of Sarah Everard. And he said that women needed to be heard when they made allegations of assault and violence. He said that those images from the vigil on Saturday at Clapham were distressing, but he said the police had a very difficult job to do to maintain COVID restrictions, and he is standing by London's Police Chief, Cressida Dick. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, the Interior Minister, has just given a statement in the House of Commons just behind me in the Palace of Westminster. She echoed Boris Johnson's message that the images from Saturday, from that vigil, were distressing and upsetting. She has launched a full independent investigation by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, the regulator, into what happened. She said she wanted to acknowledge why women were so upset about what had happened to Sarah Everard, saying it could be summed up in just 5 words: she was just walking home. That was a message that some people had left with floral tributes at the bandstand on Clapham Common, just a few minutes away from where Sarah Everard went missing on March the 3rd. People continuing to come to Clapham Common to lay flowers and to pay tribute to Sarah Everard and to reflect on what's happened. And it just shows the strength of feeling that is still there 2 nights after that peaceful vigil that turned into something quite different. This report now contains some flash photography.
Scenes of chaos on Clapham Common in South London on Saturday evening. Thousands had gathered for a vigil to honour a 33-year-old woman, Sarah Everard, last seen nearby on March the 3rd. She was found dead a week later. Images of Patsy Stevenson being pinned down by police made front-page news and sparked outrage about the police's handling of what had been a mostly peaceful event to condemn violence against women.
At one point, I saw the women next to me. There was a police sort of put his arm around her throat and was trying to pull her backwards. So we were very scared about what was going to happen.
The head of London's Metropolitan Police Service has refused calls to step down, saying her officers had no choice but to enforce coronavirus restrictions.
Unfortunately, later on, we had a really big crowd that gathered, lots of speeches, and quite rightly, as far as I can see, my team felt this is now an unlawful gathering, which poses a considerable risk to people's health, according to the regulations. A really invidious position for my officers to find themselves in.
The Mayor of London says the police's actions were unacceptable, but Cressida Dick retains the confidence of the Prime Minister and the Interior Minister, who have launched an independent inquiry.
I was very concerned about the images that I saw, and so yesterday morning I talked to Cressida Dick, the Commissioner of the Metropolis, and we agreed that we'd look at it, and the Home Secretary has now commissioned Tom Windsor of the HMIC, the Inspector of Constabulary, to look at exactly what happened in that vigil, because I think a lot of people were concerned about that.
Boris Johnson also chaired a meeting of his Crime and Justice Task Force to discuss measures to make Britain's streets safer for women and girls. Lawmakers are now debating a new police crime sentencing and courts bill in Parliament. This would give authorities greater powers to crack down on protests, and the opposition Labour Party is opposing it. Demonstrators marched from the police headquarters to Downing Street on Sunday, urging leaders to police the police. The alleged abduction and killing of a young woman walking home alone in the capital has ignited a national rallying cry demanding change and safety.
Well, another vigil is due to start in Parliament Square just across the river from me in about half an hour's time. We don't know if it will be as big as the ones seen on Sunday. Meanwhile, inside the Palace of Westminster, MPs will be debating this new police and crime bill late into tonight. The opposition Labour Party saying that it does not contain enough protections for women and girls, so will eventually be voting against it. The investigation into the murder or into the death of Sarah Everard is continuing, and a 48-year-old man, a serving police officer in the Metropolitan Police, will be appearing in court again on Tuesday. He's been charged with the kidnap and murder of Sarah Everard. Juliet.
Paul Barber in Westminster, thank you.